Okay, guys, let's start. As always, as the classes go during the module, people is, I don't know, absent more times than before. So let's start. Well, today is our full session. We're gonna talk about the topics for a week. Also, we're gonna talk about the topics for the next week. Let's go with the presentation. Okay, today's program. As you already know, the program is exactly the same. We're going to talk about the goal of this class. Then we're going to talk about the last week topics. I mean the things that we review last week. Then we're going to do the practical activity. Ah, yes, the practical activity, doubts, next week activities, the summing up for the activities for the next week, and then we're going to talk about doubts. I'm just realizing that we last class we didn't see the last week topic, and today's class neither. We're not going to do that again. Sorry, I'm going to try to fix that for the next class. Okay, today's goal. We will make a summary about all the topics students worked on Unit 4 and 5 on the Cambridge platform. And just to make a brief presentation about it, just to remember that in Unit 4, you have or you learn how to talk about your favorite things, how to talk, and yes, how to talk about technology, and how I don't know, principal or the main vocabulary to talk about technology. Uh, then you learn how to talk about the ways in which you can communicate through technology. You also work in a review for products. I also remember that you had to deliver a text for reviewing a product. And then I think that's it for the Unit 4. And for the Unit 5, you review vocabulary to talk about activities on weekend and to talk about activities on weekdays. We're going to review that vocabulary. You also learn how to talk about time, to talk about routines. Um, I think that the main the main point of the Unit 5 is the present tense or the use of the present tense. I don't have the slide for the past units, but I'm going to try to make a summary too. In Unit 1, I remember that you learn how to say where are you from or your name, all your personal information. You also learn how to use the verb to be. I think that that was the main point of the unit or of the three first units, Unit 1, Unit 2, and Unit 3, was to learn how to use the verb to be, how to conjugate verb to be, and how to use verb to be in affirmative sentences, in negative sentences, and also in question sentences. In Unit 2, you learn how to talk about how to describe a person, how to talk about siblings, cousins, vocabulary for family. You learn some adjectives to talk about physical information of a person and also to talk about personality or character. You learn how to talk about let me just see. Yes, I think that was the main point. And as I told you before, I think that the main point of the first three units was verb to be. And for unit 3, you learn how to talk about the house. You also learn some vocabulary for the rooms within the house, also to talk about furniture, some grammar issues about this new vocabulary. Uh, I also remember that you learn how to, or not how to, but maybe you learn some vocabulary that we can call irregular because you have one form for the singular and then you have a different form for the plural. Then also you learn how to say or the name of the main symbols for the email account, and numbers. You also learn the numbers from 1 to 100. And I think that was all for the first 3 units. And I really want to repeat this because I think these are the main points of the first 3 units. The verb to be. Okay, verb to be was the main point. And in 4 units and in 5 units, which are the units for today's class, the main point was present or simple present. We're going to talk about this in a minute. Okay, so the goal is that we're going to talk about unit 4 and unit 5 on the Cambridge platform. Let's start with that. Okay, for unit 4, you had 3 lessons. The first was called Favorite Things. The second one was My Phone is My World. And the fourth one was Great, 5 stars. As in the previous units, I don't know what happened with the platform, but we don't have lesson 3 as, I don't know, as explicit lesson. We can try to make a difference between all the units, but the reality is that we don't have a lesson 3 as an explicit lesson. The main points for the first 3 lessons. Well, in Favorite Things, you learn technology vocabulary. You learn how to use simple present in affirmative statements with 3 pronouns: I, you, and we. For the second lesson, My Phone is My World, you learn vocabulary to talk about using technology. And then you also review simple present statements, but in this case, you saw yes, no answers for the simple present, and how to create a question with the simple present. In lesson 4, you learn how to make a product review. And as a summary, we can say that you learn how to describe things, because a review for a product is a description. And of course, in this case, you had to use a verb to be again. If you remember also, all the content in the unit 4 and in the unit 5 used all the vocabulary learned in the previous units. So it was kind of easy for all of you in this sense. Then you learn in grammatical terms, you learn how to use the articles, the indeterminate articles, which is a and an. When do we use a, and when do we use an? Then you learn the position of adjectives, and in this case, you saw that in English the adjectives usually go before nouns. And in the writing sections, you learn the difference between but and because. We're gonna work on this in a minute. In the unit 5, you had 2 lessons. Lesson 1 was called Play or Fast Forward, and lesson 2 was Listen to Your Body Clock. In the first lesson, the main points were days and times of day, phrases to use to talk about the time or the days, all that usual vocabulary that probably you had already known because of your previous courses. Then you learn some verbs about everyday activities. And then, again, you review simple present statements or simple present tense. But in this case, you saw how to conjugate a verb in the simple present tense for the pronouns he, she, and they. I remember that you didn't see how to conjugate the verb for it, but I think that you already know that. We're gonna try to remember those little or those characteristics in the exercise we're gonna do today. And then for lesson 2, you learn phrases for telling the time, mainly about how to ask for the hour of the day and how to answer those questions. Then you also review again some very useful everyday activities verbs. And at the end of the unit, you learn how to create questions in the simple present tense. Okay. And as I told you before, I think that in terms of grammar, the main point of the unit 4 and unit 5 sorry, was to learn how to use simple present tense. Okay. Let's go for our exercise for today. I'm going to share with you again the link for the presentation in Google. Just let me share with you the link in the chat. And I want you to open the file, please. And I want you to go for the 7th slide, which is unit 4. Okay, and I'm gonna ask for the people who are in the class to participate in the presentation. Okay, let's go with Valle Solares. Are you there? Vane Solares. Vane Solares? I don't think so. Okay, I think she's not here. Um, but do you have access to the presentation? Okay, could you please help me by write all the technology vocabulary that you can remember from the unit 4? I think that it was a kind of easy vocabulary, but could you please help me by writing all the vocabulary that you can remember? And then Daniela, Paola Chávez Castro. Daniela, are you there? Now, can you help me with the verbs that you remember from the unit 4? Which verbs did you learn or did you review during unit 4? Apps, camera, cell phone, laptop, smartwatch, what other words? I think that in terms of vocabulary, you saw more verbs than nouns. So nouns were kind of. No, you don't have to. You just have to write the words that you remember in the slide, please. In the slide. Which verbs do you remember for that lesson or for that unit? Okay. By which other? Remember, verbs, not nouns. Okay, the nouns are okay because we have apps, camera, cell phone, laptop, smartwatch, and tablet. But verbs, buy, play, which other? Expensive. Expensive is a verb. Nice, bad. That's a verb. Expensive, cheap, nice, and bad. Are they verbs?
Oh no, they are adjectives.
Adjectives, exactly. I'm asking you for verbs. Buy, play games, post photos, read emails, watch videos. Well, in those cases, we have phrases, okay? Because play games is a phrase, it's not exactly a verb. The verb is only play. Post photos. Again, we have a phrase. The verb is post. Mhm. Read emails. Again, we have a phrase because the verb is read. Watch videos. We have a phrase because the verb is watch. Watch movies. Which other verbs? Does someone else remember other verbs? Cell phone is a noun. Which other verbs? Call, very good. Could you please write call? Listen to, exactly, very good. And you have to be very careful with those kind of verbs because you have to remember the preposition in this case. Listen to, speak. Well, I don't remember if I saw speak in the platform. Uh, Send, yes, it was in the platform. Leave, again, okay, yes. Leave voice messages. Again, we have there a phrase. Could you please write them in the slide? Leave voice messages. Again, we have there a phrase because the verb is leave. Okay. Then you also work with verbs like work, want, have, love, like. You saw those kind of verbs, okay? Work, want, have, love, like. You also work with chat that you have already said that. Send, listen to, watch, play, post, read, buy. Also call, chat, listen to. Okay, very good. Leave voice messages, send messages, call friends or call family. Very good. Okay, thank you very much. Diego, Ivan.
Yes, teacher.
Could you please help me? Could you please select one of those verbs? Which verb do you want to work with? Select one of those verbs. Which verb do you want to work with? Listen. Remember, listen has a specific characteristic. Could you please create 3 sentences in present tense with I, you, and they with listen? Create 3 sentences, obviously in the present tense. With I, yes. I, you, and they, exactly. Please, Diego. Only with listen to. Michelle Cruz. Could you please select another verb and create 3 sentences again with I, you, and they? You have there the verbs and you have there the main vocabulary from the unit. So you can create the sentences without any problem, I think. Watch created sentences, please. In the slide, Diego and Michelle. Okay, and also check the spell, okay, because you say, I like Joe watch movies. Spelling is very important. Thank you very much. I like to watch movies. Which other? Diego, I cannot see your sentences. Diego is out. Noemi Cordero.
Here.
Help me with other 3 sentences with another verb.
Okay.
You watch series on your computer every day. Okay, thank you. And the last one, they. They go. Okay. In this case, we only said they go to soccer games every weekend. We can also say they watch soccer games every weekend, okay? Because it sounds weird. In English, the phrase is not exactly like that. In Spanish, of course, nosotros vamos, ellos van a ver partidos de fútbol, but in English, it's not like that, okay? I call friends every evening. Okay, in this case, I call friends every evening. We should put something before the word friends. For example, I call my friends every evening. Mhm. Or I call a friend every evening. You watch series on your computer every day? Thank you very much. Simple present, excellent. Okay. Sofía Aime Velázquez Garcia. Could you please help me by create a question in simple present tense and its short answer? How do we answer a yes no question in present tense? Create the question and create the answer. Of course, using I, you, and they. I call my friends every evening. He watches movies at night. Okay, but let's wait for he. I was just asking for a I, you, and they. Noemi. He watches, just leave it out for now. You, I call my friends every evening. You watch movies at night, and they. Okay, Sophia, you can use the sentences that your classmates created to create the questions or to create the questions. Okay. Do I call my friends every evening? Thank you very much. Just remember, I is with lowercase or with an uppercase. Exactly. Writing is important. Do I call my friends every evening? And the answer, the short answer would be for the yes, I do. Very good. Remember that that's very important. Yes, I do. No, I don't. But you missed some important features. First of all, you need to add a comma. A comma, exactly, and the uppercase and the lowercase letters are important. Thank you very much. Let's go for Vani Solares again. Could you please help me by creating two examples? One in which you can show us how to use the article a and how to use the article an. In other words, how do we use a and how do we use an? Remember the difference. Or do you remember the difference? Spanish Solaris is out again, or is out, I don't know. She's gonna return. Don't be afraid of this. I think this is very important for us because you have to remember the main points of the units. Because if not, it doesn't have any sense, okay? A with consonant, exactly, and an with vowel, very good. And you have to remember also these very important differences in terms of vocabulary and in terms of reality. What is a vowel and what is a consonant? Could you please give me two examples of this?
An apple, a message.
Could you please write them? Write them in the presentation, please. Write them in the presentation. Very good. Noemi, Bane, are you ready or not? but you can access to the presentation, because the next thing that the next thing that I want you to write is to create two sentences, of course, again with the article a and the article an, but using also adjectives. Okay, which is the normal position in adjectives for English? Eileen, which is the main position, or the print, or no, well, not the main or the principal, the position for adjectives in English?
Before the noun.
Before the noun, always before the noun. It's not like in Spanish, okay? In Spanish, we can put the adjective before or after the noun. Usually in Spanish, the adjective goes after the noun, but we can also put sometimes before the noun. But in English, always goes before the noun. And another feature that you have to remember, when we have a plural noun or a singular noun, the adjective changes, or does the adjective change according to the noun?
No, adjectives are not
No,
plural.
adjectives are not plural. Very good. Adjectives are the same for plural and singular. Okay, thank you very much. Does someone could someone help me by writing two examples of plural and singular nouns with adjectives? Claudia Canino, do you want to help me with that? One example with adjective plus a singular noun, and one example with adjective plus plural noun. Nice friends, very good. Nice friends. And the other would be? In singular, we also said expensive, expensive headphones, very good. Expensive headphones, or the word that you learned in the platform. Which one? Which was the word that you learned in the platform for headphones? Earphones, exactly, very good. So we have there two synonyms, okay? Two words that have the same meaning but a different form. Earphones, sorry, and headphones are the same. Thank you very much. Okay, so I think that was all the main points that you saw in Unit 4. But let's finish with two more sentences. Who wants to write one sentence with both? And who wants to write one sentence with because? You learn the difference between but and because. What is the difference, and how do we use those conjunctions? Because we call them conjunctions. Okay, Eileen, help me. I like to draw, but I'm not good at it. Thank you very much. I like to draw, but I'm not good at it. Excellent. And remember, in this case, as we can see in the example, but we use both to, how can I say this? To contrast two different ideas, or an idea that opposed to the other idea. I like to draw, but I'm not good at it. Even I like to draw, I'm not good at it, is the meaning of that. And with because, with because, okay, Claudia, go ahead. I like to draw, but I'm not good at it. And with because, then we have another example with but. I like color blue, but red it's pretty too. Thank you very much. Exactly. Even though I like color blue, I also think that red is pretty too. I like the stars because they what? But could you please write them in the write the examples in the presentation just to have the proof that we work on that, okay? I like the stars because they shine a lot. Thank you very much. And because we use because to give reasons about something or about the first sentence in our complex sentence. We call them complex sentence because we have two sentences, okay? Okay, thank you very much. And I think that was all the main points that we saw in Unit 4. Okay, you just go very quick. Try to not go so so quickly with so quick. Try to not to. How do we say that in English? Ah, yes. Try to not get ahead with the activity. Okay. Let's go with Unit 5. Well, first of all, thank you very much. We have there the vocabulary for a time, but I want to focus on one thing that I think is very important for us. I also share with you an activity in classroom to work with this. We thought or we usually think that it is a how can I say this? Not an easy topic because we don't take the time to do the review in the first levels. But I think it's very important for us to remember those differences. I share with you an exercise. Uh, I share with you an exercise for the prepositions of time expressions because you saw three prepositions on Unit 5. You learn when to use on, you learn when to use in, and you learn phrases with at. Only one phrase, but you have to remember that phrase. Okay. Let's go with Pedro César Covarrubias. Are you there? Paulette Salazar, are you there? Pedro, are you there? No. Daniela, Daniela Chavez. Okay. Well, let's hurry up because if not, we're not gonna go to the next part of the presentation. Okay. Could please someone help me by writing phrases with on, phrases with in, and phrases with at? In which cases do we use on? You learn some specific phrases
With
to use on. Which
we use the preposition on when we talk about days or dates.
days exactly? For example, on Mondays, on Wednesdays, on a Friday, on Saturday night, etc. But you also learn two phrases with on, which are two specific phrases with on. I work on weekdays. Which would be the translation for weekdays in Spanish? ¿Cuál
Días
sería la
entre
traducción
semana,
para weekday?
de lunes a viernes.
Días entre semana o, exacto, en español diríamos entre semana, ¿no? And then we have weekend. And you have to remember that on those cases, we use the preposition on weekdays and on weekends. Okay, thank you very much. And when do we use in? You learn, if I'm not wrong, three phrases when we use in. Time expressions with in. Which ones? In, and always that when you use those phrases, you have to use in parts of the day exactly, which are Sofía, ayúdame. Help me, Sofía Aime.
Morning, afternoon, evening, and night.
Night. Do we use in with
Midnight,
night?
we use at.
At, exactly. We say at night. Okay. I watch movies or I watch a series on TV at night. You have to remember those differences because they are very important. Okay. So I shared with you an exercise in class in Blackboard, sorry, where you can learn more about those three prepositions in time expressions. So I really recommend you to learn or to read that material and to answer the exercises, okay? And just for finishing this exercise, who wants to help me by writing three sentences with he, or well, only two sentences in present tense with he and she? Because of course we have to remember the difference. In the previous unit, you learned how to conjugate the verbs or the verbs in present tense for I, you, and they. But how do we, or how we conjugate those verbs in present tense for she and he? Exactly. She works every day. He plays video games. He plays video games every day on the weekends, or every day. Every day includes on the weekends, exactly. Okay, every day. But we have some rules because you also saw changes. For example, for verbs as a study. How do we write a sentence with a study for she or for he? She works on weekends, on weekdays. He eats lunch in the afternoon at home. Thank you very much. She studies English. Thank you. And you have to remember that rule, okay? When the verb ends in Y, we change that Y for an I, okay? She studies for the exams. Thank you. He makes cookies. Mhm. Okay, you saw other kind of grammar and vocabulary things, but let's return to the presentation just to know, just to go ahead with the things that we have to see today. Okay, so this is the activity that I was talking about. In this link, you have the link in Blackboard. You're gonna find this exercise relating to the prepositions of time expressions in, on, and at. And I really think it's very important for us to work with this since the beginning of our English journey, because this is a topic that causes problems all the time. How to use those prepositions. And it's very important for you to have in mind that in English we have some rules to use them. When do we use on? When do we use in? Or when do we use at? We have to learn some phrases in which the preposition is not going to change when you use that phrase, okay? So go to this link and try to answer the exercise. Let's talk about, sorry, in this case, any questions about the topics or the things that you learned in these two units? Nope. No questions? No doubts about something? Okay. What is the word for next week? The activities? Which activities? Okay, let's talk about next week activities. For next week, you have to deliver again 2 units, Unit 9 and Unit 2, places to go and get ready. Remember, you have to do, or you must do 4 activities. In the Unit 9, you have to work on a student's course, Unit 9, places to go, and Unit 9, progress test. In Unit 10, get ready, you have to work on a student's course, Unit 10, get ready, and Unit 10, progress test. In this case, the weighting of each of these activities is 0.50. Okay, you're gonna yes, you're gonna gain, or you're gonna work 0.50 points, and then at the end you are gonna have 2 points. So you have to be very careful in this case, because as in the previous units, we are going to learn 0.50 points for each of the activities. Entonces tenemos que entregar en español 4 actividades y cada uno vale 0.5, y vamos a tener al final 2 puntos, ¿vale? Again, important things about the units that you have to remember, as I told you before, because it happened to me. So that's why I'm telling you this, because I'm just getting stuck with the scores, because I'm trying to review all the units so we can exactly, they only get larger as you go on them, as you go working on them. And it happened to me because I tried to review all the units before the classes, so we can talk about the things and the vocabulary and all the stuff that you saw or that you worked on the units. So I'm just reviewing all the units, so that's why I'm getting stuck with the scores, because I don't have time to do all of that, but I'm trying to catch you. I'm trying to catch up for your score. So just have patience. But what I was telling you is that they are large. So try to work on your schedule so you are not gonna have problems to answer the units. I don't have access to all your answers. Scores are generated automatically. But I think the main point that I want to talk about today is about the problems within the platform. Y esto lo voy a decir en español porque creo que sí es importante. Me han estado mandando mensajes de que de que tienen problemas con algunas de las unidades en la plataforma. Y lo que les he contestado es que en realidad yo no sabría cómo resolver esto porque la plataforma pues es de Cambridge y ellos son los que tienen acceso a esos ejercicios. Incluso ya le han comentado a la coordinadora por los grupos este tipo de problemas y la coordinadora tampoco tiene mucha idea de cómo resolverlas. Entonces, ¿qué es lo que yo me di cuenta que pueden hacer aquí? Déjenme ir a Blackboard, porque creo que ese error se tiene que reportar, ¿vale? Y tampoco puedo hacer nada con el asunto de la calificación porque eso se hace automáticamente. Entonces, si la plataforma tiene error, el error se va directamente a la calificación. Y ahí sí lo siento mucho porque no podemos hacer nada, o sea, hay que reportarlo a la plataforma. Entonces les voy a compartir esto y les voy a explicar más o menos en dónde es que yo veo que se puede hacer eso. Por lo que yo vi, cuando ustedes se van a la página principal, en la zona de anuncios, porque a mí tampoco me abre este enlace, porque creo que necesitan la llave. Aquí donde dice plantilla para reporte de incidencias, Cambridge One alumnos, creo que ahí es donde ustedes podrían reportar todos estos problemas que me han estado mandando por los mensajes, ¿vale? Pero sí me parece importante comentar que en este caso yo no puedo hacer nada, porque esos son errores que ya vienen en la plataforma. Ahora, ¿cuánto les baja de calificación? No tengo idea, porque de momento en la unidad como tal, yo no he tenido problemas para hacer la unidad ni para contestar los ejercicios. Por lo que estoy viendo, eso solamente ocurre en los tests, en los progress tests. Entonces eso sí va a ser importante que lo reporten, porque, repito, ahí no puedo hacer nada yo. Tienen que reportarlo aquí o directamente a sistemas o coordinación para que ellos traten de comunicarse con la plataforma para ver si se pueden resolver estos problemas, ¿vale? De todos modos, mi recomendación sería, si tienen problemas, déjenlo para mañana, por ejemplo, ¿no? O sea, hoy estoy haciendo la actividad, salieron problemas, bueno, entonces no la termino, terminen al día siguiente. Para ver si eso ayuda a que se resuelva el problema. Pero si no se resuelve, sí va a ser importante que lo reporten, ya sea en esa plantilla o lo reporten con coordinación directamente para que ella también esté enterada de lo que está ocurriendo. Porque sí ya me han llegado varios mensajes y creo que a otros maestros también, porque eso es lo que se ha visto en el grupo. Pero les repito, nosotros no podemos hacer nada con esta situación porque pues no tenemos acceso a la plataforma, solamente a las cosas que podemos calificar nosotros, ¿vale? Y eso era algo que me quería aclarar, que quería aclararles. No sé si tengan alguna duda con relación a esto. A todos nos causan muchas dudas esto. Ajá, los errores. ¿Sí? Ahora les digo, les recomiendo eso, que dejen el ejercicio por la paz y traten de abrirlo después porque también podría deberse a algún error por el exceso de gente que hay en la plataforma, pero no estoy seguro. ¿Sí? Any other questions about this incidents? Okay, so I just want to talk about this because I think it's very important for us because you had reported a lot of problems with the platform. Well, maybe not a lot, but some problems that, as you said in the chat, get you stuck in the activity, or just, of course, lower the score of the final review. But as I told you before, I cannot do anything about that because I don't have access to the platform. I don't have access even to the progress test. So that's why I cannot do anything about this. You have to report this to coordination, or you have to report this in the link that I showed you before. Okay. Okay. Let's do a summary for next activity. Claudia, do you have your microphone, or can you open your microphone? Claudia, are you there? Okay. Michelle Cruz, can you open your microphone? Okay,
Yes,
could you please
teacher.
help me by doing a summary about the activities that you must do for next week?
Next week, our activities number 9 and 10, each has a value of 0.5 points, a total of 2 points, and every activity only gets larger, so take our time.
Exactly. Thank you very much. So again, remember Unit 9 and Unit 10, 2 units, and you have to deliver 4 activities. Okay, and I'm promising you right now that I'm gonna catching up with the scores for the next Tuesday. I'm gonna try to finish all the scores for the units that we needs to cover until this point. I don't know, until Friday probably. So don't worry about it. Okay, I'm gonna review all your activities. So don't worry about that. Just be patient. And any questions about this, about the activities that you have to do or you have to deliver for the next week? Or any questions about the problems that you had? No questions? Okay. Then again, we have to review this thing about in academic integrity. Just let me take the photo. Okay, bottom. Let's go. And finally, let's go with our phrase of today. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. This is our today's phrase or today's phrase. Okay, thank you very much. I don't know if you have any questions about the things that you saw or another kind of thing that you have problems with. If no, we can say that we are gonna see us next Tuesday. Okay, good night, guys. See you on Tuesday. Bye bye. Have a good night.